Welcome back to Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. I am your host, Coach MJ. I am a global speaker, mindset strategist, emerging author, event producer, and serial entrepreneur extraordinaire. If you are new to our podcast family, welcome. Please be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications so that you do not miss one of our amazing episodes. And if you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Keep up the good work. Keep showing up. And please share this episode. When I was thinking about what I wanted to share today, I started thinking about current circumstances and things that I've been going through recently. And I wanted to share from a transparent place in my life, 3 ways that your downtime actually becomes or really already is your prime time. What I mean by downtime is the times in your life when you are down, whether you are down maybe in your health, maybe you're going through some type of illness, or you are down mentally or emotionally. Maybe you're down financially. Maybe your business has suffered. Maybe you're going through some relationship challenges and you are going through some downtimes. Any time in your life when you are feeling or experiencing down periods, that's what we're talking about when I say downtime. And what I mean by prime time is the best time, right? The time that you want to be happening. All the good shows happen during prime time on TV. At least that's how it used to be. Your downtime are your best times. But when we're in the midst of trials, when we're going through struggles, when things aren't going the way we want them to, it can be not only difficult to find that silver lining or to not only just look on the bright side, but figure out how it's actually working out for your good. It can actually be repulsive to us to actually sit in the moment of difficulty and say, this is actually a great time for me, right? That flies in the face of everything. You know, when we're upset, when we're struggling, like right now, as an entrepreneur, if you're an entrepreneur, you know, our businesses do this. They have up times, they have downtimes. Our finances, they have up times and they have downtimes. I happen to be in a period of downtime in my business, but I am choosing to reframe this downtime as a prime time in my life. And I want to share with you today 3 ways that you can do the same thing, because sitting in the negativity of it, sitting in the downness of it, while you might be keeping it real and being honest and, you know, acknowledging where you are, that doesn't help you to move forward and get back to where you were and beyond. So I want to help you today, because as we're pursuing purpose with persistence, right? This is persistent purpose. We have to find ways to keep moving forward while still acknowledging what we're actually going through. So the first way that your downtime becomes, or actually already is, your prime time is that your downtime enables you to analyze the losses to find the gains. Okay. So the law of conservation of energy says that energy is neither created nor destroyed. It just changes forms. And we're talking about energy, you know, in the scientific realm, right? Energy does not get created and it doesn't go away. It just changes. It just changes forms. Well, in the same way, resources, and I'm not just talking about financial resources. I'm talking about any tool, anything that you can implement to create an outcome that you want. That's what I mean by resources, not just financial resources, but resources are neither created nor destroyed. They just change hands. I always like to say that all the money that you will ever earn or have in your hands right now is in somebody else's pockets. It's in somebody else's hands. And it is up to you to figure out the best ways to get it to go from their hands to your hands, from their wallet to your bank account, right? Resources of any kind, though, because we're not just talking about financial resources. They don't come out of nowhere. They already exist, right? They're not created and they don't ever go away. And that's one of the things, this is a sidebar, but during COVID-19, when so many people were struggling financial losses, I said, and a lot of people said this, follow the money. The money went somewhere, right? The money went somewhere. A lot of people got very wealthy during COVID, even as everybody, most other people were, you know, contracting into scarcity and fear. Somebody got even more money. And even the people that had access to income, what they weren't spending their money on the regular things. Maybe they weren't traveling or shopping as much. They were spending it somewhere, and we needed to follow the money. The resources didn't disappear during COVID. They went somewhere. They just changed hands. I'm saying all that to say, whenever there is a loss that you experience, you also receive something. Something came into its place. It didn't disappear. Resources didn't disappear. You may have lost one thing, but look for where you received something else. It's up to you to analyze what that loss is and look for what came in its place. So during that period of unemployment, what did it free you up to start, to make progress on, or to finally complete? Maybe there's some things around your house that you didn't have time to work on while you were working, but while you were unemployed, you were able to get those things done. I know my daughter and I, during some periods of unemployment, we have actually birthed one of our companies, Hunter Health Brands and Plant-Based Lifestyle 101. We were freed up during some times of loss in other spaces in our life to create something that's magnificent. What did that loved one's death? It's going to be a tough one, because whenever someone passes, there is pain and there is loss. But what did it allow you to maybe inherit? Sometimes when a person passes away, you literally inherit something from them, whether it's financial, whether it's a piece of property or something. Or what did it allow you to clear up? Maybe there's a relationship that was suffering, but when that person passed, you guys were ready to bury the hatchet and say, life is short. And you were able to restore that relationship. So yes, there was a loss of that loved one, but you gained something. Look for where the losses are gains. What did that betrayal open your eyes to discover about other relationships? Maybe you lost a dating relationship, a marriage. And we're not just talking about betrayal like someone cheated on you, just any type of betrayal. A betrayal of trust on any level, or just the loss of any friendships. I've lost friendships I didn't think I would ever lose. But what did it open up? It showed me where other relationships thrive, where I had real friends and where I had new friends to take the place of ones that I lost. What did it free you up to gain when you lost something? You have to be open to analyzing your losses and look for what went in place of the thing you lost. Because focusing on what you lost is not going to help you get it back. Focusing on what you gained is where you're actually going to get to move forward. The second way that your downtime becomes your prime time is that your downtime enables you to appreciate the licks that turn out to be lessons. So by licks, I mean those punches, those lashes that you might have sustained, those hits, those blows. I don't mean physical ones, but I mean blows to, well, maybe some people, unfortunately, it might be a physical blow. Unfortunately, some people are suffering from abuse, but I'm not referring to struggles in your life, again, in your health. Maybe in your finances, maybe in your career, maybe you got laid off. But those licks that you have sustained, what did you learn? And appreciate the lessons. And it can be tough. I get it, but you got to get there. Truly and authentically and genuinely appreciating the licks. Be grateful, number one, that you found out what you did, when you did, and how you did. I'm going to say that again. Be grateful that you found out whatever you found out, when you found it out, and however you found it out. Yes, it is tough to lose a relationship, to lose a job, to lose financially, be taken advantage of, whatever those downtimes are. But appreciate and be grateful that it happened when it did, because it could have gone on longer. And yes, in the moment, you may think that staying in the place of comfort longer would have been better, but it might have made it worse when it finally was. Again, the lick was coming. The lick was coming. You couldn't prevent it. What can you be grateful about in the lesson that you learned? Be grateful that you found out. I've been so grateful recently for things I found out about relationships that I thought were one way, and it was actually another way. I've been grateful for that, because it showed me what I can do next time. That's a big lesson. How I can manage myself in relationships next time, knowing what I know. What is the lesson you can learn and appreciate from what you found out, when you found out, and how? Don't ask, why did this happen? It happened because it had to happen that way, because there was no other way it could have been. with the people involved, with the circumstances involved, with the place and time involved. It had to be that way. So don't ask why. It had to be that way. Just be grateful for that you found out when you did, and find the lesson. Be grateful for the growth that you had and the person you've become. So you cannot become a better person, a bigger person, a stronger person, a more capable person without going through difficulties. Think about the lunacy of trying to build muscles without going to the gym or without working out with weights. You build muscle by your muscles resisting picking up items or moving items that are too hard for it to move. You don't grow muscle just picking up a pen. My muscles are, it's like my body's not doing anything right now, moving this pen. But if I were to pick up a 40-pound weight and do something with it, that's when muscle is going to be broken down and built back up. Be grateful for the person you have become and the growth you have experienced because of the licks that you've sustained. It turned out to be looking for the lessons for you. You are stronger. You are more capable. But you couldn't have found that out if you didn't have to resist something difficult. Find a way to be grateful for that. Because as much as we say, I love me just the way I am, and I'm who I am, and I'm great, then everything you have been through had to happen exactly the way it did for you to turn out to be exactly where you are. It's easy to say, well, it could have been this, it could have been that. If something else happened, you would be different. Maybe not drastically different. We'll never know. You can't go back and live two lives. Be grateful that you are where you are because of everything you've gone through, even the toughest times. And I speak from experience of dealing with some horrific things, some difficult times that I don't wish on anybody. I don't even wish them on myself, except to the extent that it made me the person I am today. And I'm grateful for that. Be grateful that you had to do what you did to turn things around. You built grit. You built determination because of what you went through. You couldn't have built those things. Again, you can't build the muscle without resistance, without heavy things, heavy times. Your downtime is your prime time because of the things you've had to do to turn your situation around. What you had to do to crawl out of that hole you were in, that depression, what you had to do to recover from that relationship betrayal, what you had to do to get your finances back in order, what you had to do to rebuild your business or start a new one, whatever it is. As you pursue your life, as you pursue your purpose, be grateful. Don't just acknowledge it. Be grateful that you had to do those things because now you know what you're able to do. And then finally, your downtime becomes your prime time because your downtime enables you to apply the lack to get leverage, the things that you didn't have, the resources that you didn't have. Leverage means the power to influence a person or situation, but it also means an advantage or favorable condition over others. I know for a fact, and comment in the chat, or just pat yourself on the chest and admit it or raise your hand. I work harder when I'm under fire. When I'm going through difficult times, God knows. That's when I kick into a high gear I never am able to access when I'm not in lack. When I'm trying to build a business and I have a day job, my business suffers. I always say jobs cannibalize businesses. I'm speaking to my entrepreneurs out there. Yes, you can pay your bills, but your business is not going to grow until your business is your primary focus. It's not. And I know you're looking for this isn't in my notes, but I know you're looking for that way you can easily transition from a full-time check to a full-time, salary in your business. Ain't going to happen. Not going to happen unless you have somebody else paying you money, even when your business isn't making money. It needs your full-time focus to get to full-time benefits. That's just the way it is. Now, maybe your situation doesn't allow you to just leap like that, but just know you won't be able to experience the fullness of your business pursuit, your self-employment, until you are actually self-employed. Businesses are cannibalized by jobs. But when I'm in that space of safety, I've got a check coming every week, every 2 weeks. I'm not worried about my business. Business is just sitting there. I'm tottering around with it. I'm just playing with it. But when I'm depending on me, when it's all up to me, I work different. I move different. I talk to people different. I pursue opportunities differently. I've just gone through that. I was working for 2 years. I was back in corporate America, back on that, that carrot that they put in front of you, that check. For me, that's not the way. For nothing wrong with jobs. I've had them for decades. I'm just saying, for me as an entrepreneur, I don't work in the same way when I don't have that lack of that safety net created by a paycheck. Here's another benefit of lack, right? When you're at the bottom, there's nowhere to go but up. We've all heard that expression. And you no longer fear lack in the same way because you know it's temporary and that you'll survive. I've been through so many losses in my life and periods of lack, not always, usually because of my own irresponsibility or ignorance of things. I've been evicted twice. I've been repoed once, had a car repoed once. I've had all utilities cut off and all this kind of stuff just through the years when I was raising my children when I was younger. I've been through all that. So even though I didn't appreciate that discomfort, because I've gone through it, it doesn't scare me in the same way. So when my business is doing this, I don't like it. It's not comfortable, but I know I'll survive. I've been here before and I'll make it again like I did before. There's something about taking that lack and turning it into leverage of, I don't have to fear this. I can move to that next gear that I need to move to solve my issue, because I'm not stuck in the fear and the angst and yes, things will bother you. Yes, you don't like it when you don't have clients. Yes, you don't like it when you don't have financial resources. Maybe your lack is in health. Maybe you're lacking good health. Because again, we're not just talking about money here. We think about money a lot of times when we talk about lack, but it could be lack of health, lack of relationships. For my people who maybe you want to be in a relationship and you can't find anybody, you want to get married, so you're in a lack of that. You don't have to fear the lack because you know it's temporary. You've been in relationships before, you know you'll find somebody again. You know in your heart of hearts you will. You might let your mouth say, I'll never find anybody else, but you know deep down that's not true. Now, I will put this sidebar in. What you keep speaking is what will happen. So if you insist that life doesn't send you somebody because it's never going to ain't nobody out here, nobody's any good out here, and I get it, it's tempting to do that. That's exactly what you're going to create. But in general, you know somebody else is coming along. Good health is coming around the corner. Are there people that don't recover from illnesses? Yes. Obviously, we're talking about the majority of situations, not the extremes, okay? Lack and surviving lack, the leverage it gives you is that you no longer fear it. You know it's temporary. You know you're going to survive it, and you know there's nowhere to go but up. And when you have to do it, you get resourceful. It makes you more of a force to be reckoned with than people who have always had it given to them easy. I think about, trust fund babies and people who are successful in business, but they were born to millionaires. I'm thinking of certain celebrities right now. I won't say any names. It's because I know you're already thinking probably the same people. And you're born into it. It doesn't matter if your clothing line or your music or your cosmetics or your fill in the blank is successful. Of course, you have millions of followers the day you were born, as soon as you became a teenager, just because of who your parents are, because of, if you never really experienced the bottom, a person who has is way more powerful because they're way more resourceful. That's why we'll see people who have a lot, who are wealthy, but they didn't have to work for it from the bottom. They get really reckless and they get really desperate when they're faced with losing it, right? Because they don't know what to do. They don't know I saw a show last night. A family didn't know what to do if they were going to be poor. The bottom was going to fall out from under them if certain laws were passed, because that was what would affect their business. They didn't know what to do. And I'm looking at them like, that's not a reason to sell your daughter off to somebody she doesn't want to marry so you can be financially successful. Same thing was about to happen in Titanic. Rose didn't want to marry Cal, but the mother's like, we can't lose everything. Anyway, saying all that to say, when you've been at the bottom, like I'm on Titanic, so I may as well finish it out. When you've been at the bottom like Jack, you're not worried about it. He wasn't wealthy, but he was living life to the fullest. The rich girl, whose mother feared lack, she was in a different headspace till she met him, and we know how that story ended. But You get resourceful when you have to. It makes you more of a force to be reckoned with. And the last part of this is that your creativity is nurtured and birthed in the absence of distraction. The distraction of a job, the distraction of going all these different places and being everywhere. Sometimes you get ill because it's meant to slow you down and stop you so you can stop and think. Creative thinking is the currency of success, but so few people take time to think. They think it's a waste of time to just sit and think. But there are times in my week when I have to sit and think, just to plan and just to think, okay, what do I need to schedule out this week? What do I need to work on? What's most important? You can't do that when you are all over the map. You have to schedule time to stop and think. That's when your creativity is going to be nurtured and your best ideas are going to be birthed in the lack of having a bunch of stuff you're doing, or having a job, or having a relationship that might be problematic, that might be taking up a lot of your time. So today we've talked about quite a few things, but all of it rolls up to how your downtime, and when you're in the lower level of the scoop or the valleys instead of the hills, you're in the valleys of your situation, how those are actually, I shouldn't even say become your prime time. They are your prime time, but it's up to you to choose to see them that way. Look for, analyze the losses, appreciate the licks, apply the lack. That's an intentional mindset shift to decide nowhere but up. What is the lesson? What have I gained in this situation? What am I benefiting from here? What am I supposed to be learning? So that's going to do it for me. This has been Persistent Purpose with MJ Hunter. I'm Coach MJ. If you want to learn more or engage with me, if more of my content, programs I might have coming up, events, get on my email list, all the things, just go to melaniehunter.com. Get on my list, engage with all the things. I always say it this way because I don't know what could be going on right now when you see this episode, but whatever it is, get involved. If you need coaching, let me know. If you need something else, let me know. If you need a keynote speaker, I got you. But until next time, go to melaniehunter.com. I will see you next time. This is Coach MJ signing off, encouraging you to continue to pursue your purpose with persistence. Take care.